Welcome back to Latin Nation. I'm your host, Humberto Guida. Now, up next, we have an amazing story of a man who was once a champion competitive ballroom dancer, only to have doctors tell him he would never dance again after he was involved in a major car accident. But Willem De Vries found a way to persevere despite the seemingly catastrophic setback. What the professional dancer did is go from mixed-gender dance pairings, where he needed to carry his female partner, to same-sex dance competitions, allowing him to take on the traditionally female dance position, which did not require the heavy lifting with his injured arm. That move not only gave him a chance to continue his passion for ballroom dancing, it also catapulted him to shows like So You Think You Can Dance, along with world championships in same-sex dance competitions. Trust me when I tell you, this is a story you will only find on Latin Nation.
En Acción, brought to you by the U.S. Army. Find out more at goarmy.com.
My name is Willem De Vries, and my background is I'm half Ecuadorian and half Dutch. So the three of us voted, and we've decided that we are Ecuadorian. So, but I am a mama's boy, so I do favor the Latino side. For a living, I am a professional ballroom and Latin dancer. I teach, I instruct, I do choreography, and I perform around the world. The way I got started out dancing was actually when I was a little kid. My mom said I started dancing before she even gave birth to me. She would hear music and I'd start kicking up a storm inside her stomach, so. But as a little boy, when I was about 7 years old, I would go with my mom, because she was a single mother. And as an Ecuadorian woman who moved to the States, she wanted to provide for the kids things that she didn't have growing up back in Ecuador. And so my sister started in dancing, and I would sit in the back of the room and play my Game Boy and, you know, kind of look up and look at the class every now and then. And then suddenly, you know, one day they realized that at the end of the class, I'd be finishing my game, but at the same time watching them, and they were trying to remember the routine. So I would just get up and be like, you're doing it wrong. You have to step, kick, step, jump, push, turn, spin, land, obviously. And then go right back to my game. So the teachers in the class started noticing that I would do this, and so they said, you know, you can bring him for the entire class and he can join in if he wants. So they let me start going in with my sister's dance classes. So the amazing thing about growing up was that I always loved dancing and saw choreography in everything that I saw, but I did take it for granted until I had a car accident that took it all away from me. A lady was driving through Manhattan, and I was coming out of the Midtown Tunnel, and she ran the red light, drove right through my driver door, and shattered my hand and blew out my shoulder capsule. So the doctors turned around and told me I would never dance again because I'd never be able to use my left arm. So it was, of course, very devastating. I realized I wanted to push through it, so I decided to go into same-sex dancing, and that way I could use my left arm below the shoulder to lead, but since I couldn't pick up my left arm because of the shoulder injury, I would then switch hands, take the right hand, and do the ladies' part. So we did really fun choreography, and the choreography was so exciting and interesting for people that we ended up winning the United States title, then the North American title, and then we ended up winning the world title. So there's actually a pretty interesting history with same-sex dancing, because a lot of people don't realize that when tango dancing began, oftentimes it was danced by two men dancing together. So same-sex dancing has been around, but just not talked about. In terms of same-sex dance competitions, it happened quite a bit over in Europe, but it's a pretty new thing here in the States. I think we were actually really the biggest couple to start making it known around here, back when we were featured on So You Think You Can Dance, where we came in and said, look, we're here, we're the world champions, we're here to show you there's an entire world of same-sex dancing, and this is how it should be done. Yeah, the accident was definitely a blessing in disguise. It took me from taking something that I love to do for granted to really appreciating it and having to fight for it. I had to get in and start training, I had to call up my coaches again, and I had to work hard, and there was a lot of pain through it, but it made me really understand and appreciate the joy that people can get from dancing.